How's it going, laser bruisers? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to the letter. The Wright Mansion party, housewarming party, is well underway now, in full swing by the look of it. So let's see how this goes, shall we? Does that mean we've condemned everyone that's here to death? Everyone that's walked into this place seems to get fucked up in some way or another. Damn it, I got demonetized for that. Anyway, even the priest that blessed the place has had a nervous breakdown. He's not dead, but, you know, it's a start. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance, no matter how big or small it is. You make sure your guests are well fed, have good company, and then have them generally enjoy themselves. So when my opening remarks are done, when the band has started to play and the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly until I'm pulled aside. For a while I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself. And when they're not anymore watching me, I end up watching them. When they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter. He wishes to marry her off, but she wants nothing more than to make music. One of our hotel managers worries about the stolen belongings of one of his patrons. A failing in security which should be brought up to a higher authority soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. Then there's that rose-haired woman once again. It's hard not to notice her with her distinctive looks. She also lacks the grace that the other ladies have, although that does not make her any less beautiful. Her stance and the air she exudes instead are strong, and they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many men have already given her their attention, though each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach intrigued, although it is no great mystery what occupies their own attention. With the glances she keeps sending towards the boy with the oriental hair. She remains unaware though, even as I stand beside her, pretending that I'm there for a drink.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
That's a fucking rude way to introduce yourself, lady.
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenus, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
The boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any softer. He merely passes by, and it's a wonder he doesn't hear what I say.
Who, Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend then? Because that would explain those rejections.
Not yet. In all my life, I've never seen a face go red so fast. The shade of her hair did not help as well. It's the most pink I've seen on a person, really. And her shirt's pink too.
No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
Pink hair, pink shirt, pink face.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact. Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
I'd want to kill him, he's a twat.
It's more the latter, currently.
Just don't go murdering him on my property. I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
You might get that anyway, but we'll see. I waver as I feel the burning of someone's stares. It is chilling, and though I'm used to enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Is it Officer Lee again? No, it's nearly as bad. It is chilling and... oh yeah, I've said that already. It's nearly as bad as Officer Lee. Not quite. My attention is pulled from the girl and I see a woman staring. Dark-haired and dirty, she looks more like a beggar than a guest. And I have half the mind to call security at her when her mouth breaks open into a grin. All I hear is her laughing. Taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me like I'm nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. It makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. But then in a blink she's gone, and the buzz of the party returns.
I'll keep that in mind, but... Are you alright?
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light. Anyway, on a right, as you must already know.
You know, apart from Isabella, so far Hannah has been taking all this in stride. You know, I see the monster lady, I just go, it's probably a trick of the light, and just carry on. She's seen it a few times too. Isabella is like, has the appropriate reaction where you go, oh my fucking god, don't kill me. And she's just like, god. A poor person at my party. Get out, would you?
Rebecca Gales.
Gales.
The name is familiar, like a fond memory. I recall a kind lady, a private tutor who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. She'd even bring me food when there was no need to do so. Usually stovies, which I honestly hadn't been too keen about, though I ate them nonetheless because she brought them for me.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way. But yeah, that's me. Little Becky. We met once before.
Yes, oh, I remember you! You were the cutest little thing with glasses! And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A.
Ash, perhaps?
What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
The more I list off names, the more red and the more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I've triggered a horrid childhood memory. Surely, I hadn't been mean when she visited with her mother. I don't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash! That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see why, though. He's quite dashing.
Yeah, but don't talk to him because that'll ruin your whole perspective of him because he's a twat.
You don't really need to announce it to everyone within earshot, you know? Keep it down.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
And a tad bit sad.
So, this is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Anna's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them, you have to fight for it, right? You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own. Like everything, you have to work at it. But what do I know?
There is a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long's it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall correctly.
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
17, actually.
Close enough.
But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense. I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
Well, that won't do. What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person.
Now he's got the hots for Isabella. That's the problem.
Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans.
Yeah, Hannah.
It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my... crush.
I do remember now that she mentions it. Did I give her a yellow summer dress or a pink blouse and petticoat? She must have kept some of what I said in mind. Feels ridiculous remembering all of that years later, talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls and if it's some gospel every woman should adhere to. It was so easy to say such things then, with me not knowing any better. Though looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at the time, even for her to take it to enough for her to take it to heart. But all that didn't matter in the moment as I mull over what she just said in my head. What Becky told me is very different from what Mary Ann told me. There was no time to ponder over that, however, as a hush descends upon the once lively crowd. The music of strings and the chatter slows to a grinding halt as the doors from the foyer open. The last of the latecomers should have arrived moments ago, and anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. It's gotta be Luke then. This can only be one person, or rather, one man. There's only one man who was audacious enough to arrive at his own party so late.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party. I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the right mansion.
Yes, you are. Unlike I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew used to its presence, he sought it out at every chance he could, even when there was no spotlight that shone. And I'll never put it against him when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under the scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes light up as he speaks, how they listen enraptured, even if all he's doing is a simple greeting. A little wave of his hand here, a little smile there, and a bit of swagger. I always tell him that, if he is not to be a businessman, he'd do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me and he beckons me over to humbly share his place. Not a single second is wasted as I excuse myself from Becky's side and I make my way to Luke's.
Welcome one and all to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are our ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness. So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone!
Jeez, he's already made an ass of himself. He already sounds like a tosser. And he just got here. There was a round of applause, cheers, and even some hoots. Guests approach us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally, praises on their lips. It's because of this that I do not see her. I do not see her until she is dangerously close, with fury in her eyes, and she's already spitting venom. Johannes restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman. But that does little to deter her rage, as it's the Lee woman, Rochelle, and the man has no choice but to let her go, lest an unborn child is hurt. Although it might be too late for that, as I see an empty glass of wine in her hand. How much has she imbibed?
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here! You bloody bastard standing there with your smarmy smile!
She interrupts me, jabbing her finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even as whispers and murmurs break out among the guests, all I can focus on is the heat of the moment. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of alcohol on her breath. I'm not ticked off about this little display of hers, at least not yet. But I'm absolutely pissed about the fact that she'd endanger her own baby by drinking. There is a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, if tight, smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indecipherable.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What is even going on?
I'm just about to ask that exact same thing. Yeah, I'd like to know as well.
I don't know. But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself.
Or more importantly, the baby.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee! Collect your wife right now!
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass!
You ass.
You told me that I should wait for you in the gardens!
Excuse me. What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk! That's all it is! Just completely and utterly mad! Has anyone seen the Chief Inspector?
I am pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility. God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
Ooh, drama at the fancy party. Who would have thought? What?
What do you mean you're pregnant with? Luke, is this true?
Lies and slander, woman! Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
No, you do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours. Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby? Does she look like she could take care of a baby?
She did ask for a baby's room. Yeah, I think she wants a baby. I think she could probably take care of one too. It is now that Johannes returns with security along with a concerned look on looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing and feel nothing but pity for the man.
I'm so sorry for her behaviour. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Yes, that's right. There's no way that what Rochelle says is the truth. What she says doesn't match up. I know Luke. If such a scandalous meeting is to be arranged, he wouldn't do it in such an exposed place, especially not near his precious flowers. And he definitely won't promise responsibility over a child unless it can be helped. Besides, Luke will never go so far as to sleep with another woman, right? Yeah, for sure. Okay, fine, who am I kidding? If I'm to be completely honest with myself, he might cheat. With a bit of temptation, a bit of alcohol, he just might. And doesn't that make my blood boil? To even think of the slightest possibility of infidelity? Lee isn't too far off when he told me how Luke still acted like some young, hotshot bachelor. Starts to make me think. I don't think this is gonna work. Break! Maybe Marianne had a point. If I'm frustrated, if I'm unhappy, maybe a break is needed. Some time apart might just be what the doctor ordered. Time apart to clear our heads and think for ourselves. Or for myself, to be exact. Because looking at this mess before me just brings me nothing but distress. This relationship is so fucking toxic, there's no helping it, man. I feel a bit nauseous, actually, now that I think about it. Luke's too busy making a scene to notice, and a concerned Becky pulls me to the side. She looks as disturbed as I am by the sudden turn of events. Probably not a big fan of drama. Definitely not used to it, at any rate. Not surprising, as their parents were lovely yet simple people.
Hey, I figured you could use the save. You looked like you weren't doing too hot back there.
Even when she's being nice, she's being condescending. It's unreal.
Do we need to call a doctor or something?
Oh no, I'll just be needing some fresh air, that's all. Some help getting out of here would be much appreciated.
Sure, that won't be a problem. I wanted to get away from this drama too anyway. Just... Hey, Zachary! Hey, Zach!
At the mention of his name, I can't help but seek him out in the crowd as he makes his way over. They know each other?
Becca! This is a real oh, hey, Miss Wright.
If I'm to assign a random number to dictate the odds of having two of my acquaintances know each other, I'd say the odds are 1 to 1 of 1,000. Thanks, maths wizard. And if this is any other situation, I would have been suspicious. It isn't completely impossible to have two random strangers who I've met on separate occasions to know each other. And what would be completely random happenstance doesn't seem like a big town. It's just that it's been faked before, to try and dupe me because of who I am and who I'm married to. But right now, coincidence or not, I'm just grateful for the help. As long as this doesn't turn out to be a kidnapping in any way.
Hello, Zachary. I told you to call me Hannah. Did I not?
Yeah, you did. So this is what you called me for. We gonna get Hannah out of here?
I can see that they're friends. Not terribly close ones, but friends nonetheless.
That'd be great.
They make quick work getting us through the crowd. The people part because of Zachary's broad build, even if they want to approach me. If that isn't enough, Becky's pointed glares keep them at bay. She's good at that. We even make it out of the ballroom without any untoward incident. Though, judging by the commotion in the other room, the same cannot be said about the unexpected eviction. I really do need some fresh air. I need to be away from those nosy Parkers. I need to be away from Luke. This is as good a start as any.
Hey, I gotta go back in there. Completely forgot my bag like an airhead, and I'll see if I can tag Ash on the way out. You'll be fine here, right, Hannah?
Not to worry, dearie. I'll just be right here.
Zach will be with you if you need anything.
Becky balks at the idea of going back into the ballroom. Anyone who hasn't yet would have realised that I'm gone by now. And those busybodies will be gossiping how I left the building with two unknowns. Along with what just transpired, stories both inaccurate and made up will spread by the night's end. It all matters very little in the grand scheme of things, of course. I won't even bother to try and quell them by returning to the fray. That leaves me with...
Zachary?
Yeah, you need something?
I was only going to say how nice it is to see you again.
You're glowing because of the window, I guess?
Oh, okay.
Like an angel. I can see the tension in the line of his shoulders. Odd how awkward he is. I mean, this isn't our first meeting. You made it awkward last time. We've been on professional terms, certainly, but I'd like to think I was friendly. Too friendly, yeah. Nonetheless, I do not push the issue about the apparent discomfort when we were left alone. Not right now, anyway, at any rate. I know my curiosity will get the better of me soon. Before I can say anything, however, he speaks up.
You okay there, Hana? I mean, of course you're not okay after what happened in there. I mean, that was terrible, but you're not gonna just fall down and faint or anything, right?
We'll see. We'll see how the night progresses.
I'm fine. Thank you for your concern.
A beat.
I should be asking you the same thing. I remember you being a lot more eloquent.
Oh yeah, I'm just not too good with staying too long in a crowded room. Or handling intense drama, you know. Sorry about my clothes. Didn't think there'd be a dress code. Not that I have anything that nice to wear to a shindig like this. I dig nice, small, simple parties, so this is a real doozy for me.
And do you host your own nice, small, and simple parties often?
Only when there's occasion, birthdays and stuff. Those are a lot more fun for me, and I can be a lot more selective about letting only the people I'm cool with attend, right? I get to pick the food too. Of course, I make most of them myself. There's usually a dozen people or less, and all we really do is just hang out. Maybe do some grilling, karaoke, dancing, you know, the usual.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. You sure you're alright? You aren't exactly being eloquent yourself, as you put it. You must have something you want to get off your chest.
I don't know, Zachary. What am I supposed to say?
You can scream Merd if you want. I won't snitch.
You want to know what I think? How I feel? I think my friend may have slept with my husband. At least, I'm pretty sure she isn't pregnant with his baby, which isn't much now, is it? My husband is a selfish, pretentious, bloody sack of shite, and you know what? I don't give a flying fuck anymore! My God!
I like it now.
Well, that ain't good. Not giving a crap won't make the problem go away.
I'm going to ask him for a break, Zachary. I'm not going to pretend that there isn't a problem, but I just need to step back.
Fair enough. As long as you don't just up and disappear on him, I suppose.
Yes. Now can we please stop talking about him? Tell me more about your small, simple parties, karaoke and dancing. How does that even go together?
Simple, really. We hope Ash doesn't take the mic, put on a bit of fun music, and just dance. Not that I can. But there ain't nothing complex about it.
You can't be that bad.
I'm pretty good with the twist. Or that's what they tell me, at least. I think they're just being nice. I'm sure it just looks awkward.
How should I respond? Prove it, or at least you can cook. At least you can cook.
At least you can cook.
Allegedly.
You still bring no proof.
This party ain't exactly a potluck, is it?
True, true. Perhaps you can invite me to one of your simple parties. I will bring the cake.
Yeah, why not? But with a cake that big like at your housewarming party, we'll be eating frosting for weeks. Maybe make it a little simpler and it's a deal.
Simple would be nice.
I wish the same could be said about what I'm about to do. Simple isn't the adjective I'll use to describe the task at hand. Because really, how does one tell their husband that they want to separate and say that, no, this is not a divorce? Not yet, at least. The possibility is there. But still, how am I even to explain that to Luke without him throwing a fit? The fact that he's willing to throw a fit over anything means you need to take a break, because he's a fucking child. Cutting too deeply into my sausages, I open my mouth to excuse myself. That is until I spy Luke mashing and stirring his poached eggs with a fork like a petulant child. He has been silent all the while, chin in his hand and elbow resting on the table. I worry that my absence after the debacle may have caused more harm than good.
Luke, I think we need a bit of a break. You know, some time apart.
At my words, he grows still and silent. I'm not quite sure whether I should be worried or not. I take it as my cue to keep talking.
It's not permanent or anything like that. Just for a while. In a few days, perhaps. I was thinking I can move back into our penthouse in the meantime, but I won't be moving out right away, so that I can help settle everything here. And I haven't even thought of packing yet. And I'll want to ask Johans to assign some of our staff. Unless you want the penthouse anyway, then I'll stay here instead.
No, you take the penthouse. It'll be easier for you.
It isn't supposed to be this easy, is it? Can he really react so aloof to it? He must have known this was coming as well. Come on. He's not a fucking idiot. He might be an asshole, but he's not an idiot.
Isn't this to your liking? I imagine that you'd like the space and independence. You'll have the bed and covers to yourself, and you can have whatever you want prepared for meals. You can even have all the wine you want, though I'd rather that you don't.
This isn't about that, Hana. Well, it's partly that, but...
The man stops playing with his food, choosing instead to push the plate aside.
What's wrong, Luke?
He slumps back in his chair and just stops short of putting his feet up on the table. I suspect he's wanting some wine or absinthe by now, but any sort of alcohol is suspiciously absent in his hands.
Aside from that disaster yesterday and you telling me you want a divorce, everything is peachy keen. Will you want me to start on the letters then? To start the divorce settlements and whatnot? Will you be seeking ways to throw me out onto the street without a penny to my name?
No, Luke, this isn't a divorce. I just told you this is only temporary.
Probably. Maybe. We'll see.
Are you really having a sulk because of what she said yesterday?
I am having a sulk because you believe her. You stormed out and now you're asking for us to split up? Soon enough, you'll want to throw me out like I'm a piece of trash.
Do you think I would be this calm if I believed her, Lucille Mitchell, right? Because believe me, if I did, well, it wouldn't be pretty. Besides, I know how you feel about children. It makes her whole statement laughable.
Sure, whatever you say.
His mouth draws into a thin line, and I can't bring myself to comment on his half-hearted reply. To me, the silence that follows feels oppressive. It only emphasizes the wall that has been built up by my obeisance and his hubris. Obeisance? Is that being obedient? I don't know that word. And it looms between us, keeping us apart.
When are you leaving? In a week?
It won't take that long to pack. After All Saints, perhaps, I'll go and inform the staff of this.
You know, what I like about visual novels is every time I read one for the channel, I come across at least one word that I've never seen before. An English word. I mean, I come across lots of like French words and German words and shit that I don't know, but I can't be expected to know that really because I only know English. But definitely at least one English word I don't know as well. He only nods. And I'd be lying if I said that didn't disappoint me. I'd expected more resistance. The man can be stubborn as a mule if he wants to be. Perhaps I can leave now, just to spite him. But that isn't like me. Even if this does end in a divorce, a thing we both surely wish to avoid, we can still leave on amicable terms. There's no point in making a mountain out of a molehill.
What are you still doing here?
Rude.
Just leave. You still have some packing to do, don't you? Go ahead. I won't stop you.
Go ahead. And do nothing. There isn't much to do, it seems, whenever I step up to the plate and try to take the responsibility for something. Perhaps because everything is already being handled by somebody hired specifically for that job. And with Johans overseeing the staff and Luke handling everything else as a whole, it doesn't leave much for me. I can't even take the job of delegation because all it takes is a word to one of the senior staff and everything will be taken care of for me. It must be nice. Moving in here a few days ago may have very well been the chore that took the most effort from me. And that didn't take any real effort at all.
Yes, Hana, go buy a mansion in the middle of nowhere. Good idea. Great plan.
There are no dishes to set aside and busy myself with. Any mess left behind is now nearly non-existent. To sit on a counter while eating cake is supposed to be my next plan. Alas, there isn't even one to finish off, and I don't really know what brought me to the kitchens in the first place. It's not like I'm craving anything else, nor do I have any unfinished business left here. But there's a calling to this room. It's a nice kitchen. Speaking of the calling, why not do just that? Might as well, since I have nothing else to do. At least it'll require some effort on my part. With how cut off from the rest of Luxbourne the mansion is, and with how long it was abandoned before we moved in, having a landline is out of the question. The solution, supposed to be, are mobiles. Though, it isn't much considering how spotty the signal is in the area. Email? It'll take a bit of maneuvering to get even a single bar, as it is. It takes a bit, as I said it would. I have to park my rear end on one of the cold drawers, but that suits me just fine. Another matter that needs my effort is who to call. She who must not be named is certainly off the list. Rochelle. That doesn't leave much in the category of close friends who attended the party, along with the category of who else is awake at this early hour. Oh my god, you're gonna ring Becky, aren't you? It's soon enough I manage and a call goes through. Or is it Zach?
Hello, Rebecca Gales
It is
here.
Becky. Called it.
Who's this?
Good morning, Becky.
Hannah? Oh wait, how did you get my number?
You responded to your RSVP through the phone. It's all saved in here, of course. I thought I'd like to say hi and make plans and get together sometime. Also, I'd love to hear news about your mother and father and about you, my dear. Oh, I hope I didn't wake you up.
Oh, you're good. It's sports day at school today, so I was just prepping for that.
Figures that you'd be a teacher as well. I'm sure your students must absolutely adore you.
Don't know about that.
Mathematics?
History, actually. Anyway, it's real nice to know you've got my number. I was going to ask for yours because Mom wanted to keep in touch.
You could have asked, silly girl. I would have gladly given it to you.
Couldn't, though, because, well, the thing that happened. But really am sorry, though. I gotta run. School, schedule, stuff. Is there anything else you want to say? Don't want to use the mobile while driving.
Oh, of course, of course. I shouldn't keep you, but I wanted to thank you for your company yesterday.
Not a problem.
I was hoping you could thank Zachary on my behalf as well. He was really kind and wonderful.
Well, you can tell him that yourself if you want. I can give you his number.
Oh, no, I don't want to be a bother. Intruding on his privacy.
Pretty sure he'd be fine with it. If you two are on a first-name basis and all. So his number, right, it's...
The call starts to go static, much to my frustration. A strange clicking noise drowns out most of her words too. I can barely understand what she's saying. And the line completely dies. I can feel a headache coming along. It's just building up, starting from a light throbbing on one side of my head. The static is gone, and that helps a lot. But there's still that incessant, horrible clicking. Again and again and again. Which doesn't make sense. The mobile's turned off, isn't it? And if it isn't coming from the phone, then where? Looking about, I can't help but let my eyes be drawn to the hatch leading into the wine cellar once more. That's where when the clicking stops and I hear the crying. That familiar crying from before. What happened the other day, when I was told that nobody should be down there. I tried to forget it because of how it unsettled me so. One can hardly do that when looking at the very thing I'm trying to forget. Someone is crying down there again. But if I leave it alone, it simply won't stop bothering me for the rest of the day. I might have forgotten to lock it with the party going on.
This again! If somebody is pulling my leg, I will not be happy!
True enough. All it takes is a pull to open the hatch. As I look down into the cellar, a sense of uneasiness washes over me. I'm just getting ready for the jump scare. I know what's coming. It isn't just the sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. And as I look down, it feels as if it's looking back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep. The cries down beneath, the shrieks that started echoing in my head, high and shrill like nails being dragged across a chalkboard. They're all screaming, shouting at me. All I can do is just feel her rage. Help me. She wants to drown me, drag me down and crush me in the very depths of darkness until there's nothing left of me. The deep abyss awaits me for my death. They're all calling for it. This is a nightmare. There's a rope around my neck and I can feel the rest of me being torn apart. And they're still screaming. I'm screaming. Though it's not my voice that escapes my lips. It claws through, climbing up and forcing its way up my throat like putrid bile. I choke and gag, yet I scream and shriek at the same time. And I'm me, but not me. Ah! Oh my god, what buttons are they? They're all over the keyboard. That's not fair. Keyboard has too many fucking buttons. Not cool. At least be in one cluster, like WASD and Q and E and shit. Come on. M? M's nowhere. M's on the other side of the keyboard, you bastard. Anyway, it pushes me down to my knees before I'm prone and vulnerable on my stomach. It makes me tumble, and I can just feel my whole body seizing, writhing on the floor. Everything and nothing hurts. It feels like I'm on the verge of death, and if I'm not dying, I nearly wish I am.
Hannah? Hannah, what is going on in there?
Why are you?
Prince!
Seeing Luke, something snaps back and I'm able to take a gasp of air on my own volition for the first time in what feels like centuries. I would have rejoiced and cried for his name if the pain did not still rack my body. Instead, all I can do is stare listlessly as he comes to my side and lifts me up, cradling me in his arms. He tries to get me to my feet, perhaps to take me out of here. But all he's able to do is to get me to sit, to make sure I'm not thrashing on the floor. I can still feel my muscles spasm, limbs jerking like a puppet's on a string. Luke holds me tight and keeps me still so I do not hurt myself anymore. Whatever it is that happened, it has my mind feeling frayed and battered. Eventually the pain dies down into a dull ache and my own tongue stops feeling like cotton. It's only now that I can feel the wetness on my cheeks, tears streaking down my face. A coughing racks my body now that I don't feel like choking. And it just all feels so horrible. But I don't care. I don't care.
Please!
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I am so sorry.
For what?
Shh, it's alright. You're safe now, Hana. You're safe now.
That was fucked. Alright, we're going to wrap this one up because we're out of time. I assume we're skipping to the next person now. That might be the end of Hana's bit. I don't really know, but I guess we'll find out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.